We are here to celebrate what we have started in our phase one of our $15 million construction project of the emergency department and the main entrance of the hospital. We have an exciting program planned for tonight, and we're excited to share this with you, where we go over and talk about some of the many things that we've done here at the hospital. Most importantly, I want to thank everyone. What we're celebrating tonight would not have been possible without the generous gift and support of the community in the Rappahannock area. Now I'd like to welcome our Director of Mission, Erin Clark-Lupo, to the podium to share an opening prayer.
Good evening. I'm Erin Clark-Lupo, the Director of Mission for Rappahannock General Hospital. It is my pleasure to be here with all of you today for this celebratory occasion. Today we gather in celebration and to give thanks, so let us begin with a prayer. Loving God, we thank you for this opportunity to come together today to celebrate the completion of our first phase of construction, and for journeying through us with this project. We give thanks today for all those who have been involved with this project. It is because of their tireless commitment that we are all here today. We ask for your blessing that this space be a place of healing, of comfort, and of community. Send down your spirit to reignite in each of us a continued commitment to be good help to those in need. Father, we praise you and ask your blessing through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Hi, good evening. I'm Lee Sewell. I'm the president of Rappahannock General Hospital and Memorial Regional Medical Center. It's an honor to be with you tonight for this momentous occasion for RGH. I want to begin by thanking our RGH associates, physicians, nurses, and leaders who provide excellent, compassionate care to our patients every day. As many of you know, Rappahannock was built for the community by the community after a small group of young leaders identified the need for emergency care in the area. Today, this renovation and expansion is also made possible with the generous support of this community. Thank you. Bon Secours is honored to partner with you in support of the hospital. Together, we're building a healthier community and bringing good help to those in need. I've had the privilege of working with RGH for the last 14 years, beginning when I was the physician liaison at Memorial Regional. I was in charge of the Bon Secours booth at the Urbana Oyster Festival for several years. Joanna will remember that fondly. That was my first glimpse into what a special community this is. And then I've had the pleasure of seeing the collaboration between Bon Secours and Rappahannock evolve from informal to formal over the last decade and a half. Prior to the acquisition in 2014, Bon Secours and RGH entered into a formal affiliation agreement, and Bon Secours did have a small ownership interest. I was the chief of staff for our CEO at the time, Peter Bernard, and ended up leading the affiliation and integration committee. Almost every Tuesday during 2012 and 2013, I spent the day at RGH working with the team to support the organization, both from an operational perspective and a strategic perspective. I had the opportunity to work with Jimmy, BH, Sissy, Craig, to name a few. And what has truly been unwavering is the support and the commitment from the Richmond market and the system leadership to not only ensure that operations were stable, but to invest and grow services so that Rappahannock can continue to support the Northern Neck community. It's truly an honor to serve as president of Rappahannock and continue to see this facility flourish under Alan's leadership. Since RGH was formally joined Bon Secours on December 31st, 2014, Bon Secours invested $18.8 million in medical equipment, facility infrastructure, and an additional $5.6 million has been invested in elevating salaries and benefits for our associates for a total of $24.4 million. In addition, a significant investment was made to implement an electronic medical record system. Today, Rappahannock provides an array of inpatient services from medical, surgical, behavioral health, skilled nursing, and we most recently added a progressive care unit. in addition to, of course, outpatient services including emergency care, oncology, cardiac, diagnostic imaging, a sleep lab, physical therapy, and primary care and specialty network. So now it's my pleasure to welcome our campaign chair for Rappahannock, co-chair Craig Kelly, to share some exciting news regarding the campaign. Thank you.
The one thing that Lee didn't say about herself is that she has been a tireless advocate for RGH, and we sincerely appreciate it. It has really paid dividends for us. She is truly a member of our Riva family, so we're thrilled to have you here tonight. Thank you. I think it's very appropriate, and even I would suggest ironic, that we opened the celebration tonight with a prayer. Yes, we are proudly a faith-based hospital, but I also think it's ironic because 45 years ago, some young people had a notion to build a hospital here. And I believe that many thought that that didn't have a prayer's chance of happening. Then on April 15th of 2021, almost a year ago today, we announced a $15 million capital campaign for much needed improvements in the emergency department and several other key areas within the hospital. I know personally that there were skeptics that said, again, there's not a prayer's chance. I'm here tonight to tell you that prayers do get answered, and that is why we are here. Throughout America, rural hospitals are continuing to close their doors at record levels, and even during the last 2 years, in the midst of a pandemic that created an unprecedented demand for hospital beds, some 20 more rural hospitals closed their doors. Across our land, rural hospitals have been closing their doors, but tonight we celebrate new doors, more doors, and open doors. Our ability to launch the capital campaign was made possible by two individuals, each who made extraordinary commitments to the hospital and the community. Marvin Camp and Faye Hannum each wanted to do something transformational because they were grateful for the care they and members of their families received over the years here at Rappahannock General Hospital. They left sizable bequests that support this renovation and expansion. Thanks to Mr. Camp and Mrs. Hannum and you, the community, many of the people in this room who generously gave, I am proud to announce that we have met this and in fact surpassed our $15 million goal 1 year before we thought it was possible. Yes, indeed, prayers do get answered. We should all be proud of the resounding response from many in our community, many of whom are under this tent tonight. Thank you for answering the call for RGH, just like this hospital has answered the call countless times for so many in our community. While we know that our community understood the importance of supporting our rural hospital and what it means to those who live, work, and relax here, it was still heartwarming and gratifying to see this response. As you look at the hospital today, and as you'll soon go through the front door, you will see the beginning, just the beginning of the transformation that is going to take place over the next several years. It looks incredible, and wait till you walk through the new front door, see the lobby, registration, and check-in and waiting rooms. The new kitchen and cafe space has been transformed with a design that allows great sunlight to come into the hospital. The fact is, we're all waiting for that cafeteria to reopen. When we were discussing the original scope of the campaign, it was for the expansion of the emergency department and reworking the entrance and lobby of the facility. We didn't have private rooms in the ER, which is critical today for the proper care of people who are experiencing a life-threatening illness. With the reliable, incredible success we've experienced with this campaign, we have been discussing hospital priorities that we have put on hold while we raise the money for the emergency department. These projects include the renovation and expansion of the outpatient infusion center, renovation and updates to the patient wing and behavioral units, the much-needed attention to the courtyard garden, and aligning the rest of the facility to look as good as the front part of it does now. Tonight, I'm honored to announce that we're going to keep pressing forward with the RGH campaign to include these additional key areas of our hospital and raise our goal from $15 to $20 million. Let us not forget at the same time that, as Lee pointed out, Bon Secours has and continues to invest significant dollars in key infrastructures. The decision to raise the goal was not made lightly by Bon Secours leadership or my fellow volunteers. But I assure you we have a clear path to meet this new goal successfully and invite you to participate in any way you can. Every and any gift is greatly appreciated. So where are we towards this $20 million goal? I'm particularly happy to tell you tonight that we already stand at $18 million. We have Mrs. Hannum to thank for recognizing the outpatient infusion center. She wanted to ensure that that center was the very best it could be and reserved a portion of her bequest in support of it, and we certainly want to honor that. I also want to recognize and thank my fellow campaign workers because they're the ones that really did the work. I would start with our honorary chairs. You know, too often honorary chairs are people that just let people put their name on a letterhead. But our honorary chairs are anything but. We have Sissy Crowther, Doug Monroe, and Jeff Sapersky. Often they made calls, solicited companies and individuals, and they gave of their own treasure graciously. They are also really dedicated to this, and we thank them for that. Then there are my two co-chairs, Mary Kay Rodert and Michael Kennedy. Michael's cutout is over there in the corner because he couldn't be here tonight, but it's appropriate. He's got a can in his hand. I didn't look to see the label. The three of us served together on the Rappahannock General Hospital Foundation board before our affiliation with Bon Secours, and we now serve on the Bon Secours Richmond Foundation representing our hospital. The fact is that Mike has done a wonderful job, and if there was ever a role model for service to the community, that would be Mary Kay Rodert. I am deeply humbled to serve with both Mary Kay and Michael. I've been fortunate to work on numerous fundraising efforts over the years, and I've never worked with a staff that's more dedicated and professional and compassionate about the goals than the Bon Secours Richmond Foundation staff. So to them, my sincere thank you. We've also seen signs in front of hospitals. We've also seen signs in front of medical facilities over the last 2 years that say, "Heroes work here." Ladies and gentlemen, heroes have always worked at RGH. They have made up for an aging facility that desperately needed upgrading by giving their patients the very best and compassionate care. It does not matter what the job is. Everyone at RGH shares a commitment to ensure that anyone that comes through that hospital door would be treated with dignity, compassion, and a caring touch. To them, we say thank you for holding on. And now we are on the course to give you the facility and the tools you so richly deserve. We celebrate tonight the completion of phase 1 of the construction, and soon WM Jordan, our construction partners, will commence on phase 2, which involves the demolition of the kitchen and make way for the new and significantly expanded emergency department, which will all be completed, we hope. Supply chains always have a way of changing these time frames today, sometime in early 2023. The additional projects we announced tonight are already in the planning stages, and we will be announcing the timeline for their completion shortly. In fact, the future of RGH is bright and promising, and that directly benefits you and me, our families, our neighbors, and our community. Your campaigns, committee, and staff pledge to you this night that we will see this through to a successful conclusion, and then even more doors will be opened. Now it's my opportunity to introduce somebody that really doesn't need an introduction in the Northern Neck, and that's Jimmy Carter. But before he gets up here, I just cannot say enough about him. Jimmy has been involved in so many ways in the hospital, and perhaps one of the most important ways was helping to find the right partner for us, which is truly Bon Secours. He has always put our community first. He's been involved in everything and anything that does better for the Northern Neck. I think on a personal note, if you allow me, one of the things that I'm so happy to say is I have the privilege of calling him my friend. Jimmy?
You know, I think this weather was a good omen. I think that, this is just, I'm so proud tonight. First, I'd like to thank you, Craig, for those remarks were amazing. One of the rewarding things of working on an important initiative like this is forging those meaningful relationships with talented, passionate individuals dedicated to making the community the best it can be. Craig exemplifies those qualities in abundance. Also, there's so many people around this tent tonight that do the same. Craig, I appreciate your leadership, your friendship, and your generosity, and I too thank you so much for your great friendship. This appreciation extends to each of you. Because of the COVID protocols that we're still sort of operating under, this was intentionally designed as a small, intimate gathering celebration. If you're here, it means you're within our top tier of important community or health partners. Everyone has been associated, all of us in this room have been associated with capital campaigns. As Craig talked about, the last 3 campaigns in this community were the library, the pool at the Y, and the Boys and Girls Club. All 3 of those campaigns were worth within $1.5 and $2.5 million. So you can see when you start talking about raising $20 million in a small community like this, what a heavy lift that is. But the outpouring of support that we've gotten from the community to keep going, to go from 15 to 20, was because people have stepped up to the table and they're saying that this is important to them, that they want to see more going on at Rappahannock General Hospital. This hospital will ever, as Craig mentioned, will ever be in the appreciation of our 2 major transformational bequests. Mr. Camp, represented tonight, hi Renee, I saw you come in, good to see you, by Renee Gilbert, and Faye Hannum, represented by Nancy Dykeman. Nancy's right here. Thank you, Nancy. Both of these 2 individuals worked diligent to carry out the needs expressed by their benefactors who got them involved. They've been passionate, and we just can't thank you enough for what you've done to carry out their goals. There's so many people here that are deserving to be thanked, but I'm going to limit my focus this evening to a group of donors who have stepped forward with major contributions. This is truly a community campaign. Each of these donors represent 4 different community groups that I call the Been Heres, the Come Heres, the Move From Heres, and the All Heres. Starting with the Been Heres, it's my great honor to recognize Doug Monroe. Doug and his late wife, Kit, are recognized in the new River Cafe that you'll see right here behind this glass partition. Through the support of the Chesapeake Bank, Jeff and Wendy Sapersky, and the Catherine W. and Douglas D. Monroe Jr. Family Charitable Trust, we've been able they made a major contribution. Doug, as we all know, is a cherished leader in this community and someone who I personally admire. He's my North Star model for what it means to be a servant to this community. Thank you, Doug, for all you've done, and thank you for this support. And then there's the Come Here group. The Come Here group is exemplified by Craig and Mary Charlotte Kelly. As stated, Craig and Mary Charlotte represent those who have moved here to make and have made a significant investment of talent and gifts to this region. You know, we're blessed in this region when we look around to see the talent that lives here. And this is really an amazing community because we're the envy of all the other communities. This is a community where people get involved. They move here and they say, hey, I'm going to live here and I want to make a difference. And this campaign has really brought that forward. Craig and Mary Charlotte are going to be honored in the inpatient surgery waiting room that you'll see. I mean, in the waiting room in the hospital, you'll see the sign in there. And so Craig and Mary Charlotte, we really appreciate all you've done and your significant gifts. Thank you so much. Now the move from here, and I don't mean died. When I say move from here, I mean that there are people like Phil and Mary Hugg. They lived here in this community and have moved away. But when we started the campaign, they reached out to us recently, and even though they no longer lived here, they realized how important this community was and what this hospital meant to this community. And they made a major gift through the River County's Community Foundation. And so while they're not here, you know, I think that was a really telling sign. When someone moves away and still wants to give a major gift after they've gone, it's just truly it epitomizes what this means to be a community campaign. And last, but in many ways the most meaningful to me, are what I call the oral hears. This is our dedicated Seconds Unlimited volunteers. I call them all here because they represent the broader community. You just can't imagine the amount of work that these volunteers put in. I mean, to come and people bring their donations through the back door, of which we're extremely appreciative of, but they have to go through them, sort them, hang them, clean them, organize them. It's amazing the amount of work that goes into this. Seconds Unlimited has committed $500,000 to this campaign. The amount of the work that's represented is an immense amount of love involved in that. They'll be recognized in the lobby in a very prominent location. And, you know, I think that, like I said, I just think that every time I go into Seconds and think about all the work that these volunteers do and the amount of money they raise at dollars at a time is truly amazing. And we just can't thank the Seconds volunteers enough. Thank you so much. In closing this evening, I'm thinking about my deceased dear friend, B.H. Hubbard. Sissy and I were talking about him just a little while ago. B.H. was our long-standing board chair, and he set example for all of us of what it means to be dedicated to this hospital. I feel his presence, and I know how pleased he is to see what's happened here with our partnership with Bon Secours and what this campaign has been accomplished. To the leadership of Bon Secours, we hope that you see the success of this campaign as a meaningful sign of how much this community values this hospital. Our appreciation for what you're doing to help us provide superior health care to this community. We want to continue to partner with you on making this hospital the best that it can be. Together with our community and Bon Secours, everyone has answered the call. This is an amazing campaign, and I just can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you for being here and all you've done. So, in the moment when this will finish our remarks, we're going to invite you inside to take a look at what we've done, and you can see from the quality that our partners, that Cheryl Hummel, our architect here, has so beautifully crafted and has been built by our great builders, Jordan Construction. It will give you a glimpse of what the rest of the renovations of this hospital are going to be. You know, perception is reality. I think when a patient pulls up to a hospital and they see a facility that's worn out, they sort of say, well, I wonder if they can take care of me if they take care of their building. We always knew that we had superior care. Now we've got a facility that matches the superior care. People are going to pull up to this hospital, they're going to say, yeah, this is the real deal. And we've got the real deal people working in there. And I think, as Craig alluded, I think over the last year with COVID, it's important to realize how brave the people are that work in this hospital. Before there was a vaccination, every day, I don't care if you were a groundskeeper or a surgeon, every day you didn't know if you were going to get killed coming to work. And these are truly heroes. There's an important work that goes on through these walls. And through you all's largesse and support, we're enabling this work to continue. And I'm just humbled by everything you've done for us. Thank you so much.